Hey everyone, and welcome back to the RedBeard Outdoors podcast. I'm Jonathan, your host, and here today, being Monday, we're going to do a gear review. And I've got kind of a first impressions. I haven't taken these out to the mountains yet, so I haven't been able to put them through the paces that I would like to. I've just had, a bunch of stuff coming up, especially with all the time that I took off for hunting season this year. I'm playing a little bit of catch up. Whether that be here at home or my 9 to 5. And I just got these in, of course, right after hunting season. And I'm going to be running these through their paces. But before we get into what exactly they are, I just want to first thank you so much for tuning into the podcast and here on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Before we get into the details, the nitty gritty here, if you're listening in on the podcast, definitely follow so that you can get updated every time a new podcast episode drops. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Definitely helps a ton. I'll be doing giveaways here pretty soon. And just to give back to you guys for all the support and growth that have happened here on the podcast just over the last, even just couple months. And I want to give back to you guys. So definitely subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you're on YouTube, or leave a review, of course, if you're listening into the podcast. And, of course, all the different companies, sponsors, affiliates, I'm leaving the links down below as well, guys. If you have any questions about them, feel free to reach out to me, whether that be via email, or you can definitely send me a message over on Instagram where I'm most active, and I'd love to answer your questions about any gear-related items. Now, you came here for tripods, I'm assuming, if you saw the title of this episode. And I was running the Vortex Carbon Summit 2 this year, is what I ran, because I went and picked up a spotting scope, my very first spotting scope, because I wanted to test out the different digiscoping options out there. And of course, as you know, I went with the all-in digiscoping because it's just the best on the market, guys, by far. If you haven't, definitely go check out that review. But I went and I was able to connect with a company here that's local that makes tripods, and they make some really high-level stuff. I walked in there and I was blown away with all the different options that they provide, from all the different types of heads that you can imagine, all of the, I can't even list, I don't even know, and I'm a gear junkie over here, guys, but this guy has thought of everything from camera-specific tripods to radar mounting tripods to glassing tripods, sitting tripods, rifle tripods, so shooting tripods, standing, just so many different things. It blew me away. But of course, I'm talking about field optics. So here is the tripod that I'll be running. This is their, excuse me, I'm going to have to look at the models here, guys, but this is the FT6229C Pro Max. So this is the FT Pro Max, and this thing is solidly built, guys. I'm super impressed with this tripod. Just from the specs, just from what I've been able to mess around with, just here at the house, I've taken it out to, use the spotting scope in different scenarios. It's super sturdy, from what I can tell as well. It's also really lightweight, which was really surprising for me. I love the head on this, which the head we'll have to go into in a different review. Today, I'm just going to talk about the tripod. So there's a couple things that really intrigued me about these tripods. And I'll say these because that one, this one will probably be my main go-to be honest with you, just for all the different capabilities that I'm going to go over here shortly with you. But if you're looking for a more sitting specific tripod that is possible to get almost to a standing position, it's kind of stretched out to its max if you want to stand up with it. But this is the tripod that I'll be running if you want to go ultra lightweight and more of a sitting, possibly standing tripod. This would be the way to go here. It's the Field Optics Microlight. So this is the carbon version Microlight. And you'll notice there's quite a few differences here. But the blue rings on here that I'll get into in a little bit as to why there's blue rings on that tripod versus this one. But this is also, one of their heads. Let me see if I can take the head off here. There we go. So On the top there, I've got the Kestrel glassing mount for the binos. Now this would be my bino setup. You can put a spotter on it, again, if you're looking more specifically to sit down. This is one of the Field Optics heads, which is pretty sweet. And again, I'll go into the heads a little bit later. They do make their own bino adapter as well, but I'm running the Kestrel one that I can go into more detail later. So this tripod, I mean, goodness, this thing is super light. It's awesome. It's got completely adjustable and locking legs here. You can even invert them if you're looking to do it that way as well. It's got 4 different segments here. It's, again, super lightweight, guys. I mean, this thing weighs nothing, and it is sturdy as all get out. This head as well also is telescoping, so that can extend. And, of course, the main tube, the center tube, will extend as well. So you get a lot of extra height there. And like I said, you can extend it all the way out to where you could basically stand up with this if needed. I wouldn't recommend this being your main standing tripod. But if you're looking for the ultimate lightweight sitting tripod, the Microlight, Field Optics Microlight is the way to go. All right, you can go. I'll leave the links down below, guys, so you can check out what the weights are, the heights, and everything. But in comparison to all the other ones on the market, this by far is if not the lightest, one of the lightest out there. And again, like I said, I love how sturdy it feels, and it's not wobbly. Even when you do fully extend it, it's not crazy wobbly, like I've had on some other tripods that I've run, where you fully extend it all the way out to get the height that you want or need, and it just gets really wobbly. This does not do that. So again, I don't really have much else I mean, it's just sturdy, solidly built, lightweight. You have multiple adjustment options. It's locking, you turn it to the left, you can extend it out that way. Turn it to the right, you screw it in, now it's locked out. All right, and you've got 4 segments there. So again, it gets pretty tall for a sitting tripod, but this would be my main sitting tripod option, and for binos as well. Again, ultra lightweight option, guys. Now, the reason why this one, I imagine, is going to be my main tripod. One, the head is beefy, but pretty lightweight for what it is. I really like the head. And again, we'll go into the head on a different episode. So let me go ahead and pull that off there for you. Just wanted to show you what it looked like with the spotting scope on it. Okay. Now there's a tripod. It's got 3 separate segments there. 2 sections that have the blue rings, and I'll go into that in just a little bit. The center tube is also telescoping, so you can get extra height out of that center tube. They're locking legs, so again, you get out to a certain set, I guess, angle out that you've set, and it won't go past that. They'll go in on each other. It'll also invert if you're looking to pack it in that way. It'll invert on itself. So these legs, fully functional. You can hear it locking at each different step. It's an auto lock. So you start out here and you'll hear it. So it auto locks as you bring it in. All right. Of course, it's got the little weight thing down here. If you've got it extended, you want to put some weight on it so the wind doesn't blow it away. What I want to show you guys, though, is something that really intrigued me about these tripods. Normally, if you're out backpacking, hunting, whatever it is, you've got your spotter, you have your binos, you've got your tripod, you have your trekking poles, and all of that, of course, adds up. Now, I'm not one to count ounces, but if there's any way that you can obviously cut out weight, it's preferred. You definitely would prefer to have less weight in your pack because you're going to be carrying that around the mountain with you wherever you're going. With this tripod right here, and they also have one that's slightly bigger in diameter as far as the legs are concerned. This one's pretty beefy in my opinion as it is, but it also, again, there's one that's even a little bit beefier than this. With this tripod, the legs that have the blue rings on them unscrew and become trekking poles. Put a handle up here, and then you've got your trekking pole. You can extend this out. Again, these are pretty beefy, guys. And for a trekking pole, this would be a good size for a trekking pole. Now, you can get the steel tip there. You can have the rubber tip there. And there's also other attachments that you can put on so that you can have whether that be the mud cap or the snow basket, whatever you would like to have on the tip here. And again, you can have the metal tip if you're allowed to have a metal tip wherever it is that you're hiking, or if you need rubber caps, you've got the rubber caps. So the versatility of this tripod mixed with how lightweight it is, I want to say, so this tripod gives me a little bit extra height compared to, or a lot of extra height compared to my Summit Carbon 2. And without the head on it, or with the head on it, it's just like 1 or 2 ounces heavier than the Summit Carbon 2 tripod, which is what I was running before. This tripod's a lot sturdier, and it eliminates the need for me to carry trekking poles. That was a big deal for me, because you're able to cut out the weight of the trekking poles when you're already going to be carrying a tripod with you. This tripod is great. You can sit with this tripod. It's got a short enough height when it's all the way down that you can sit with it. And it's sturdy enough when the legs are fully extended that for me, being about 5'10", the tripod was the perfect height for me with my spotting scope, that I didn't even have to extend the neck on this, and it allows it to be a lot sturdier when I'm sitting there trying to glass. I don't get the wobbliness that comes with when you're fully extending the tripod with the heavy spotting scope on top of it. Honestly, guys, the things that check the boxes for me on a tripod are lightweight, but even more so sturdy, so that when I'm wanting to glass, I'm not getting that wobble. And also, if I'm wanting to digiscope with my phone and the spotter, I'm not getting that wobble. I'm getting good quality, crisp video or images of the animal that I'm looking at. And that's kind of top of the list for me when it comes to tripods. Then you mix in a sturdy trekking pole with the tripod itself. That just cuts out, again, the need to carry trekking poles at all. You don't need them because they're already built in. And usually, I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, if I'm using my trekking poles, it's because we're carrying out a heavy load because we've already killed. We've got an animal, we've harvested the meat from the animal, and we're carrying it down the mountain, and that's why I need trekking poles, or up the mountain, and that's why I need trekking poles. I'm no longer glassing at that point, so I no longer need my tripod. It's just dead weight in my backpack. If that's the case, and you're able to take these 2 legs off and use them as trekking poles, that's less weight on your back in, because you're not carrying the trekking poles, and it's less weight on your back out because you've got the trekking poles taken off of this, which is now dead weight in your backpack anyway, and you're using it in a useful way so that you can carry out the weight. So for all of those reasons, this, I imagine, will be my go-to tripod this upcoming year. I would like to hear from you. Again, if you're listening or watching this on YouTube, comment down below what are your top 3 things that you're looking for in a tripod when you're looking for a tripod? And are you an archery hunter or a rifle hunter? I'd like to know those 2 items too, because each different hunting group is going to use a tripod in a different way. You may want a tripod that you can shoot off of. This one would be one that you could shoot off of. The other tripod would be mainly for if you're trying to go ultralight and you need a sitting tripod for maybe some binoculars. You could use a spotter on the other one, but binoculars would be like the ultralight setup with the seated tripod and the binoculars on it. So again, guys, you tell me what you're thinking, but as far as I'm concerned, I think it was awesome to be able to come across this option of having the trekking poles built into a sturdy spotting scope or binocular tripod, one that I can stand up with and it not be fully extended and not have the wobble that comes along with being a fully extended tripod. This one will more than likely be the way that I go for this upcoming year. After I put it through its paces, I'll give you guys another review, tell you how it held up on the mountain, how I like the mechanisms of unlocking to lengthen the different joints. If it's something that's good or bad, maybe it gets gritty. I don't know. This is kind of my first impressions and thoughts on these tripods as I've messed around with them here at the house, and I've taken them out to see how sturdy they are, how they hold up to glassing with a spotter on them, and being at their different heights and seeing what they're capable of. But let me know what you guys think. These are the Field Optics. Again, this is the Pro Max. See if I can show that to you right there. Yep. The Pro Max FT6229C, C for carbon. And then you've got the Microlight, which is, again, the ultralight setup for backpacking, sitting. Again, you can put a spotter on it, but more than likely you would put binos on that one, and that one's super sturdy and lightweight. So let me know, guys. I'm really excited to get these out in the mountain and try them out, and I hope you've enjoyed this first impressions and review so far on these tripods. Let me know if you have any questions, and hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And of course, get out, live your life, and love it.